Good evening, everybody. Not really much to update you on that you haven't already seen in the email yesterday. Just do have a look at that for some exciting news about an opportunity to pray with Christians around our county and to pray for our county together. And there's some instructions there for that. Sunday morning, as normal, 10 o'clock, we've got Kids Zone. And then at 11, we have our service. We'll be looking at Pentecost and what happened then. I think that's really all to update you on. We'll just have a look at a little interview that I did with Claire Bennett earlier today. So let's find out how things are looking for her at the moment. Well, hi Claire, nice to see you.
Hi Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Managing to enjoy a bit of this sunshine that we're having at the
Oh,
moment.
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
This whole experience would have been so much harder if we'd not had the beautiful weather that we've had.
yeah.
Uh,
I think you're right. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's been a small mercy, I think, from God to
Yeah,
have had
it
that
certainly
weather.
has, especially for all those people that have had children at home this entire lockdown as well.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is it. So yeah, we're dropping in with you today to see how things are going. So what the first question is just what does life look like at the moment? How is it different from what it was before all of this kind of happened?
Well, I guess the biggest change really has been having Paul at home. For those of you that don't know, Paul pretty much works away from home Monday to Friday, week in, week out. So since lockdown started, he's been at home more. He has still been working, but he hasn't. The first when we were in full lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
I think the first 3 weeks, he was at home a lot of the time. But then EDF were very keen for him to keep working because he's a contractor and he's self-employed. So we need to obviously still live, so we still need to have an income.
Yeah.
So they were able to give him a job over in Durham, which he was able to travel to and from every day. So that was great. He'd go in the morning and come back in the evening, and he did that for about 3 weeks on that job.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's reverted back to the solar panels jobs. So he's working back down in the south of England. So he's away. He structures his week now that he's here Monday and Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
and then leaves Wednesday morning and comes back Friday night. So although he's away, it's not away like he used to be. So it's been great just to have him at home a bit more often. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but it's different as well because the arrangements with the kids are different post pre in lockdown and now as we're starting to move out of lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
In the very beginning, we tried to minimise transport. We tried to minimise contact.
Mm-hmm.
So the arrangement that we used to have was that the kids would go to their dad's Tuesday, Thursday, and alternate weekends. But at the beginning of lockdown, we switched it to go week to week. And actually, that's worked for Cameron, but it hasn't worked for Layla. And I said to her, "Do you mind me sharing this?" And she said no. So that's when we get to the what can you pray for, I'll elaborate a little more.
Okay, great. Excuse me. Yeah, and I guess your work situation's presumably changed a little bit as well.
Absolutely. Yep. I was working at Pacific House in an office with Ruth, and we've since lockdown been working at home, so that's been a complete change for me as well. Um, I didn't think I would cope with it as well as I have, if I'm honest. I thought I'd find working from home really difficult, but actually, I think I've adjusted quite well to it now, and I'm kind of a bit apprehensive about going back.
Hmm.
I've got so used to working at home.
Yeah, I think there's that's probably a feeling that quite a few other people will have as well, I reckon. And
Yeah,
will feel the same way. I've not liked the idea of working from home, but now I think, oh, I don't
yeah.
know if I want to go back.
I,
So
I do think it's going to change a lot the way that a lot of people work and the way a lot of companies work.
yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, definitely. And so so you've mentioned it's been good to have Paul around a bit more. What else have you found good about this period, and what have you found difficult?
I think another thing that I've loved, and it sounds so trivial, is actually not setting my alarm in the morning. It sounds ridiculous, but I don't set an alarm. I get up when I wake up, and I've always been very much an early morning person, so I don't worry that I'm going to sleep in until 11 o'clock, because that never happens. For me, 7:30 is a lie-in,
Mm-hmm.
but because working at home gives me flexibility, and obviously having Layla at home, or alternate weeks, and having to do the school thing, it's kind of, I just get up, and within 5 minutes I've made a coffee and I'm sat at my desk. I don't have to walk the dog before I go to work. I tend to walk the dog in my lunch break now, or at the end of the day if it's a hot day. So just that flexibility of being able to fit work around family has been really, really good. Not having to do school runs, not having to drive to Ria every morning is just the best thing ever. I think I've put diesel in my car twice in 10 weeks, which is amazing, because normally I fill my car up once a week.
Yeah.
And I think just the slower pace of life, just stopping has just been, it's been nice. It's, just that, and no gym runs, and no mum's taxi service, and just not having any of that stuff has just been so nice. And I think one of the other great things that I've really enjoyed in this period is actually being able to help someone else in our church family. And I did actually say to her this morning, can I share who I'm helping? And she said, of course, I'd love you to share that. So I was asked to help out Rita Emerson. And Rita actually lives in Longtown, which isn't obviously very far from me. So geographically, we're very close. And since the beginning of lockdown, she's shielded. And obviously, Peter's passed away in that period as well. So, it's just been such a joy to get to know Rita. And I said to her, when I asked her if I could share, she said, I have to read it to you, because if not, I'll get it completely wrong. But I didn't want to come across as sounding like, oh, this is amazing, I'm amazing. But what she said was, tell him, Steve, how much I enjoy looking forward to seeing you, and how thankful I am that the Lord sent me an angel in disguise.
Oh,
And I just thought, oh, that's so beautiful. And I said, I don't want it to come across as big-headed and that, like this is about me. And she said, and so I said that to her, and she said, I'm not saying that, Claire, but you need to know that you're precious and you're loved by God and by me for your goodness and kindness in serving the Lord in this way. I know that if it had not been you, the Lord would have found me another angel. But I will not forget you kneeling on my path and praying for me when Peter died. And that's what I did. And that's, I actually heard about Peter when I was standing in the queue shopping for her for Marks and Spencer's, and I'm standing in the queue, and I got the message, and I was just like, oh, God's timing is amazing, because anyone who knows Rita knows that Rita loves flowers. So as part of her shopping, I always get flowers for her, because they bring her joy. And one day she said to me, I enjoy flowers. I want flowers more than I want food. Flowers bring more joy than food. And I said, I know that, which is why I always like to bring you flowers. So that day that Peter died, I was able to buy her the most colourful bouquet of roses and take them to her and pray with her on her driveway.
Oh, that's great. That's just so encouraging, Claire, that you found it a blessing to be a blessing to Rita.
Absolutely. And I know that when this is all over, I can't wait to build that relationship with Rita, and to be able to go to her house and be able to sit down and have a cup of coffee with her, and just to be able to go out to the garden centre with her, and just grow that relationship.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. So yeah, lots of positive things. Anything that you find particularly difficult in this period?
I guess not seeing friends. I've got obviously quite a close circle of friends, and we've obviously seen each other a lot, but we've had to adapt that, and we see each other on video calls, and but it's not the same. It's not the same as being able to see somebody and give them the hug, and I think just not being able to hug people is hard.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of hugging when this is all over.
I can't wait for that day. Everybody's just going to be a hug fest.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's a bizarre thing not to be able to you know, to have to stand 2 meters apart from, you know, your closest friends is, it just is, it's very surreal and strange.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And the other thing as well is, and probably quite a few people can relate to this, but it's just constantly like the first question my kids ask in the morning is, "What's for lunch?" Or and then we move on from lunch and it's, "What's for tea?" And it's like I'm kind of a bit sick of cooking. I know I should be grateful that we have food to eat,
Yeah.
but I'm just a bit sick of cooking and having to think about meals, and
Hmm.
it's just yeah. I long for the day that we can just go, oh, you know what, let's go out for tea.
Yeah.
It's be amazing.
Just have a go for a McDonald's drive-through. I know it is
Layla,
open, is it, the one in Carlisle?
it's imminent, isn't it? Layla's
Yeah.
hankering, but can you imagine what the queues are going to be like? It's going to be ridiculous.
I saw the queue for KFC when I was driving past it the other day.
Well, I had a 40th birthday party, Zoom birthday party with a friend, with one of the gym mums the other night,
Yeah.
and she was in the queue for KFC the whole of our Zoom birthday party. But the best of it was she had her phone and she had her drink, and she sat in the car and had a party in the car whilst waiting for her KFC.
Oh dear, that is funny. Um, good. What about prayer? It's so important for us to be able to pray for each other, and that's one of the main points of dropping in on people
Sure.
to be able to pray in an informed way. So what can we pray for you, Claire?
Um, just going back to the Layla situation, after doing the week on week, Layla decided that she didn't want to be away from here for a week. She just finds that that's too long.
Mm.
We are quite close, and she's always been fine with it. She's always been fine with 5 days at Dave's house, but ever since there's no school, there's no gym, there's none of the normal stuff,
Mm.
she's just found that that's so much harder. And I think as well, the difference as well is whenever she's been to her dad's, they've always gone and done fun stuff together. They've always gone swimming. They've always gone out. So she just doesn't, she feels it much more than she's ever felt it before. So the first night that she goes to Dave's after a period of being here, she's very, very tearful. She's constantly in tears, and it breaks my heart. It absolutely breaks my heart when I'm getting messages and she's telling me that she's crying, and oh, it's just so difficult.
Mm.
So yeah, so that's really tough. And so yeah, if you could pray for Layla, just that transition to Dave's, would be smoother and easier, for her and for me, really. And a dad, because it affects him as well, because he sees her upset when she's come away from being with me to him. So it's hard for everybody.
Mm.
But it's just difficult, isn't it?
Mm.
And obviously the other thing as well is Paul's mum and dad. Um, like June and Roger, Paul's dad is in a home, and Paul's mum hasn't been able to see him since lockdown started. He's really struggled with the PPE and the staff in the home wearing PPE, and has been very aggressive to the staff. So if you could just pray about that as well, that would be really great. And just that Paul's mum at some point would be able to go to the home and be able to see him again.
Yeah.
And for Paul to go. He's tried to, since he's lived here, go to the Isle of Wight once a month. So actually him not going and seeing his mum and dad has been really tricky for him as well. So if you could pray for him as well, that would be great.
Great. Yeah, no, we'll definitely pray into those things. Thank you, Claire, for sharing with us. Great to see you.
You
And
too.
yeah, we'll guess when all this is over, or maybe even before, we'll see you again.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Look forward to that day.
Okay.
All
Well,
right, take care.
thanks again. Bye
Okay.
now. Bye
Bye.
bye. Yeah, thank you very much to Claire for sharing with us there. Do please remember to pray for her. That's it for this evening. Enjoy the weather over the next couple of days. I think we're in for some scorching weather. Well, scorching by Cumbrian standards. So enjoy that, and we'll see you all on Sunday. Bye.